Yo, you thinking about slanging t-shirts full time but not sure if this is a profitable business? Let's talk about it.
Big Safe.
Fat Man Scoop, Brooklyn Clan. What's up, y'all? This is Fat Man Scoop. And right now, you watching the sensei, the number one, the king, my dude, Big Brando. He taught me, personally, me, Fat Man Scoop. All you gotta do is keep your mouth closed and your ears open. Listen to the man talk. That's knowledge personified right there, and I wouldn't trust nobody else but my dude, Big Brando. And I said it. Fat Man Scoop, Big Brando, let's go!
What's happening, everybody? Boy, Big Brando, and today let's talk about, is this t-shirt business a profitable business for you? Now, there's a lot of people out here that are working full-time jobs or maybe part-time jobs right now, and they're like, man, I hate my job. I need to start working for myself. I want to be my own boss. I want to start my own business. T-shirts might be the way to go. 100% agree with you. There's a lot of people out there that feel the same way. There's a lot of people out there that are like, hey man, I think I need to do this also. I'm watching these guys on YouTube and they're killing it. I'm watching these guys on Instagram and they're over here showing their print shops and they're making a killing. I should be able to do this too. But your one reservation is, can I make a living doing this? Can I pay my bills doing this? Is this a business that can actually grow? The answer to that is yes and no. The reason I answer it that way is, can you make a lot of money selling t-shirts? Yes, you can. I'm living proof of that. I can make a bunch of money selling t-shirts. I make a bunch of money selling t-shirts. There's a lot of us on YouTube that are showing you our businesses and we make a lot of money, but also it didn't happen overnight. So before you go out and quit your job and start this business, I would say get your feet wet first. Planning and structuring is key when it comes to starting any business, I would believe. Not just t-shirts, but it could be any business. Who are you going to sell your t-shirts to? Who are you designing your t-shirts for? How are you going to sell them? How are you going to print them? What blank t-shirts are you going to use? What's the marketing strategy? There's a lot that goes into this thing. And when we first get started, one, there's a lot of excitement. Two, it's very, very overwhelming. And trying to mesh the two, excitement and being overwhelmed, is a recipe for disaster. So it's always best to plan out what you're doing first before you jump right in. And the beauty of everything is you can make this a slow transition. You don't have to go all out right away. There's a lot of people who are like, man, you got to invest in yourself, invest in your business. Nobody's going to take your business serious. If you don't take your business serious, forget about all that. It ain't even that serious. Let's say you work a full-time job now. Let's say you have a family. Let's say you got bills to pay. And let's say you work 8 to 10 hours a day at your regular day job. You can still start your t-shirt business while you're working that full-time job. You have the safety net of your full-time job. Your day job is taking care of the bills. Your day job is taking care of your family. Your day job, you probably hate it, but it's providing the lifestyle for you now, right? So by you starting this business while you're working your full-time job, you now have that safety net. You know your family's not going to suffer. You know that the bills are going to be paid. So you have the freedom to start this business. If the business fails, you still working your full-time job. A lot of people want to jump right in and say, I'm going to start my own business. I hate my boss. I'm going to quit my job and then I'm going to start this business. Nah, don't do that. Start your business slowly now while you're still working. Figure out if it's for you. Chances are you might be like, man, I don't even like t-shirts. Or chances are you might think, all right, I'm going to start this business because I want to start my own brand, and then find out how much money you can make printing for others. And now your brand is going to take the back seat because you're making so much money printing for others. That's just how this business works, is you just start to fall into what makes sense for you and where the money's coming in from. And then you give it that much more attention to help grow. So the easiest and quickest way to get started, I would say, is heat press and maybe a vinyl cutter. Sometimes you don't even want to get into the vinyl stuff and you just want to go straight into transfers. That's cool. It's not that you're upgrading or you're graduating from a vinyl cutter to transfers. It's just whatever makes sense to you. If you wanted to do one-off shirts and custom shirts, a vinyl cutter is a very good option. And you could get the cheap ones. You could get a Cricut or a Cameo. That's a couple $100 just to get started. You don't need to break the bank. You don't need to take out no business loan. You don't need to do none of that. I don't believe in any of that business credit, maxing out credit cards, putting yourself in debt to start a business. I do not believe in that. I never started out like that, so I would never recommend that to anybody. Save up your own capital, save up your own money from your day job, make minor sacrifices here and there to buy the equipment so you can start making money for yourself, right? You don't want to start out in the hole. If you buy everything on credit, you max out your credit cards, you're a few thousand in debt, now you're constantly trying to dig yourself out of that hole. and you're scrambling around how to make money, how to pay the bills still. Nah, forget that. Make the sacrifices now, save up a little bit of money for your equipment. Then when you buy it, you don't owe nobody but yourself. At that point, everything you sell is a win. Everything you sell is profit because you're not in the hole. You're starting out on the top floor already. Start small. Vinyl cutter, heat press. Don't gotta buy the best stuff. Just buy quality stuff. Cameo is good. The Cricut is good. There's a lot of tutorials on YouTube to help you learn how to use this stuff so you're not just left in the dark. There's a lot of information out there for you to learn how to use this equipment to the best of your ability. Heat press, very standard thing. Turn it on, set the temperature, set the duration time. That's it. Not much training you need on that. There's a million videos on YouTube of people like myself teaching you how to make the t-shirts. Every channel out here t-shirt related shows you how to make the t-shirts. Whether you're doing vinyl and a heat press, you're doing Plastisol transfers and a heat press, DTF transfers and a heat press, DTG printers, sublimation. There's people out here showing you how to make this stuff. So the information is there. The hard part of this whole business is knowing how to sell the t-shirts. And that's what not a lot of people on YouTube are talking about. Not a lot of people show you how to do that. My channel, show you how to do that. Try to help you out. I just show you what I do to sell t-shirts. Hopefully it makes sense to you, and hopefully you can use that information for your own benefit. But that's the hard part. Making the shirts, learning the equipment, not the hard part. Hard part is learning how to sell the shirts. So let's talk about making the sell easier for yourself. When I say making the sell easier, know exactly who you're going to sell to, design your designs for that specific person, and then market those t-shirts to that certain group. Sounds crazy, but when you really break it down to the nuts and bolts of this thing, it's very straightforward. If I'm somebody that loves snakes and I want to make t-shirts for somebody that loves snakes, all I have to do is figure out what the popular snakes are. All I have to do is find out where these snake lovers live at on the internet, what Facebook groups they're in, what Instagram hashtags they're using, what TikTok hashtags they're using, where the snake events are at. This is where the people live. This is where my target audience is hanging out. And I need to be a part of that. I don't know nothing about snakes, right? But if I wanted to sell stuff to people that love snakes, that's the first thing I'm gonna do, is find out what the popular snake breeds are, or the snake species are. Then I'm gonna make shirts for those snake owners and snake lovers. It works like that for anything. Doesn't matter what it is. If we're talking about cars, Chargers, Challengers, 300s, Mopars, those dudes doing donuts and takeovers and stuff like that, easy call. That's an easy place to live in. You know where those sideshows take place. You know where those takeovers take place. You know how to find them on the internet. You know where this group of people lives. You know what they're into. Majority of the ideas in your head right now are like big picture ideas. You want to take over the world. You want the world to own your t-shirts and stuff like that. When you narrow it down to a very small group of who you want to sell to, this is where you get your practice in. This is when we're talking about getting reps in. This is getting your reps in. Selling to a small group, figuring out how to fulfill orders, how to design for the target audience. Start small. A lot of people want to come out the gate and start big because they want to be the next big thing. So they're comparing themselves to the bigger brands, the brands that they're fans of. But those brands, they didn't just come out the gate and just boom like that. They got the reps in. Start small, get your reps in, figure out how to use your equipment, how to fulfill orders, how to ride the trends, how to understand what the customer base wants, and then you can grow from there. You take that little bit of information and then you start expanding your business that way. That's the best way to do it. This is the way that a lot of people don't talk about doing it because nobody wants to talk about living on a small scale. Everybody wants to talk about making millions. But for myself, man, I'm more comfortable making 100, a couple thousand, and then growing from there. It's easier to get the small stuff instead of just going for the big stuff. So for myself, understanding who I'm going to sell the t-shirts to is way more important than what heat press to buy, what vinyl cutter buy, what transfers to use. All of that equipment doesn't mean nothing unless you sell the t-shirts. You have to be able to sell the shirts. Making the shirts is nothing. There's so much information out there about making shirts, different print methods, how to make the shirts, how to print the shirts. But we're talking about selling the shirts. Understand who you're gonna sell to. That's the information that you want. That's the information to do your research on. Not the information about the best equipment to buy and doing all that stuff. Understand who you're gonna sell to. How you're gonna make the money. The equipment's there, the knowledge is there, it's on YouTube, it's for everybody to understand. But there's no amount of YouTube videos that we can make to show you who to sell to and how to sell the t-shirts. I give you my own examples on how I make the money and how I do this stuff, but it's not going to work directly for you because we have different customer bases. I have a different target audience than you. I have a different vision than you, but you could take the information that I use on certain things and you use that and apply that to your own business. You know what I mean? So if you're thinking about getting this thing going, don't quit your day job. Structuring and planning is huge for you right now. Figure out who you're going to sell to, how you're going to structure your business, how you're going to make the money, and then really do some research on the people you want to sell to, because that right there is going to affect the designs that you make, because you're going to design t-shirts for a specific group and a specific audience. That's how you're going to make your money. That's who you're going to sell to. That's how you're going to grow your business. You know what I mean? Hopefully this information right here helps somebody out. If you got any questions, make sure you leave it in the comments. Follow me on Instagram, Big Brando TV, and check out the playlists on my channel. Back to basics, getting started from scratch. That kind of stuff right there lays out everything I do for my business, broken down into video form for you guys so you guys can make your decisions and see if this business is right for you. Those playlists and those series were made for people like you. Take advantage of it, all right? Catch you guys on the next one, man. Yeah.